As astronauts from a host of nations advance mankind's research in space, some eagle-eyed Earth-bound viewers believe they've spotted aliens studying us.
NASA has found something weird in space, and they're trying to hide it from everyone. Recently, a live feed from the International Space Station was cut suddenly after the live feed caught sight of a strange phenomenon. What could this be? Are aliens already working with humans in space? Join us as we explore why NASA shut down the live feed of the ISS after they captured what no one was supposed to see. The International Space Station's live feed allows people all around the globe to witness the breathtaking views of Earth and the cosmos from space in real time. However, a weird discovery was captured on that live feed, which the National Aeronautics and Space Administration is now hiding from us. On January 6, 2015, while the ISS live feed was streaming, viewers noticed something peculiar in the background. A bright, unexplainable object appeared to be moving in the distance, sparking immediate speculation and curiosity among viewers worldwide. The camera cut out shortly after the object appeared, going to a gray and then blue screen. The camera came back on shortly after about 15 seconds. The image was unlocked again, but the apparition was gone. Shortly after the mysterious object was displayed, NASA abruptly terminated the live feed, leaving millions of viewers baffled and hungry for answers. This sudden shutdown only fueled speculation and conspiracy theories, with many questioning NASA's motives. NASA reached out for clarification, and a spokesperson said, "The termination of the live feed was due to a routine maintenance issue and not related to the sighting of any unidentified objects." However, skeptics remain unconvinced, pointing to past instances where NASA has been accused of covering up anomalous sightings. In the uploaded video, the footage cuts off abruptly, going to a gray and then blue screen, with a message from NASA saying there were technical problems. The message says, "Please stand by. The high-definition Earth viewing experiment is either switching cameras or we are experiencing a temporary loss of signal with the International Space Station." However, conspiracy theorists claim the sudden shutdown was an attempt by NASA to prevent viewers from seeing the UFO. But after Express.co.uk sent the video to a forensic UFO investigator, he has concluded it is a hoax. Scott Brando runs a website, ufofinterest.org, and analyzes viral UFO images and videos to look for explanations or to check out hoaxes. He identified the original footage, which had been used to make the hoax. Those events won't be much of a surprise to anyone with a little bit of knowledge about the station cameras, because both things occur commonly. And NASA representatives have now stated very directly that the agency did not turn off the camera intentionally. It's not rare for the space station camera feeds to cut out for various reasons, including the fact that the station orbits the Earth about 16 times per day and frequently slips out of direct contact with NASA. UFO conspiracy theorists allege that NASA shut down a live stream video recording from the International Space Station, ISS, just minutes after the UFO was spotted. As the UFO came closer and began to come into focus, the screen turned blue, Scott C. Waring wrote on UFOSightingsDaily.com. NASA always turns the screen blue if they see a UFO, in an failed attempt, mind you, to hide it from the public. What does the ISS do? The International Space Station, ISS, is a large space station assembled and maintained in low Earth orbit by a collaboration of 5 space agencies: NASA, United States; Roscosmos, Russia; JAXA, Japan; ESA, Europe; CSA, Canada, and their contractors. The ISS is the largest space station ever built. Its primary purpose is performing microgravity and space environment experiments. Operationally, the station is divided into 2 sections: the Russian orbital segment, assembled by Roscosmos, and the U.S. orbital segment, assembled by NASA, JAXA, ESA, and CSA. A striking feature of the ISS is the integrated truss structure, which connects the large solar panels and radiators to the pressurized modules. The pressurized modules are specialized for research, habitation, storage, spacecraft control, and airlock functions. Visiting spacecraft dock to the station via its 8 docking and berthing ports. The ISS maintains an orbit with an average altitude of 400 kilometers and circles the Earth in roughly 93 minutes, completing 15.5 orbits per day. The International Space Station regularly passes out of range of the Tracking and Data Relay Satellites, TDRS, used to send and receive video, voice, and telemetry from the station, representatives from NASA's Human Exploration and Operations Mission Directorate said in a statement published by the Huffington Post. For video, whenever we lose a signal, the video comes down on our higher bandwidth, which is called KU. The cameras will show a blue screen, which indicates that there's no signal or a preset video slate depending on where you are watching the feed, the statement said. Secondly, bright objects hurtle toward Earth all the time. There are space rocks burning up in the atmosphere as well as meteors, also known as shooting stars. Human-made space debris can also burn up while falling through the atmosphere. Space agencies monitor the larger chunks. And then there's the possibility of the bright spot as an artifact, nothing more than a reflection. What we know about the stars where NASA will hunt for alien life. Scientists have analyzed the stars that an upcoming NASA telescope will target in its search for biosignatures, narrowing down the candidates for those that could host potential extraterrestrial life. To prepare for one of the most advanced searches for life on other planets, astronomers have examined the stars that a new multi-billion-dollar telescope might target. They discovered some may be better suited than others to hunt for potential alien life. UFOs, known as unidentified flying objects, have always piqued interest and curiosity. Any news related to this mysterious object is often exaggerated and fed to people likewise. It's not the first time there have been alleged UFO sightings. According to a report by Express, UFO conspiracy theorists alleged that NASA shut down a live stream from the International Space Station, ISS, just minutes after a UFO was spotted. Studies show that after careful investigation, the majority of UFOs can be identified as ordinary objects or phenomena. The most commonly found identified sources of UFO reports are astronomical objects include bright stars, bolides, bright planets, and the moon. Aircraft, including military, civilian, and experimental aircraft, as well as such peculiarities as aerial advertising and missiles. There have been several cases where UFOs have been sighted on several occasions and in different places, and anytime the ISS loses that signal, the stream goes dark. The feed is not switched manually, the NASA spokesperson added. It's all done automatically. There's nobody on the control board. We used a space-based data relay network. It gives us a very good coverage area, but you do lose signal occasionally, anywhere from a couple of seconds to a couple of minutes. It varies from day to day. But that hasn't stopped UFO hunters from accusing NASA of covering up evidence of alien life on the ISS live stream. In fact, such accusations happen pretty frequently. In April, the same claim was made when a diamond-shaped UFO appeared to hover near the space station. The same website has published recent reports of a UFO flying above New York City's Freedom Tower and drone footage of a pack of possible mermaids off the California coast. UFOs have been subject to investigations over the years that varied widely in scope and scientific rigor. Governments or independent academics in the United States, Canada, the United Kingdom, Japan, Peru, France, Belgium, Sweden, Brazil, Chile, Uruguay, Mexico, Spain, and the Soviet Union are known to have investigated UFO reports at various times. No official government investigation has ever publicly concluded that UFOs are indisputably real, physical objects, extraterrestrial in origin, or of concern to national defense. UFOs are real, and the government is aware, but that doesn't mean we know what they are and that they are signs of alien technology. Somewhere along the line, UFOs got rebranded. Unidentified flying objects are now, per government edict, unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAPs. An unidentified flying object, UFO, can mean any aerial object or optical phenomenon not readily identifiable to the observer. UFOs became a major subject of interest following the development of rocketry after World War II and were thought by some researchers to be intelligent extraterrestrial life visiting Earth. The first well-known UFO sighting occurred in 1947 when businessman Kenneth Arnold claimed to see a group of 9 high-speed objects near Mount Rainier in Washington while flying his small plane. Arnold estimated the speed of the crescent-shaped objects to be several thousand miles per hour and said they moved like saucers skipping on water. In the newspaper report that followed, it was mistakenly stated that the objects were saucer-shaped, hence the term flying saucer. sightings of unidentified aerial phenomena increased, and in 1948, the U.S. Air Force began an investigation of these reports called Project Sign. The initial opinion of those involved with the project was that the UFOs were most likely sophisticated Soviet aircraft, although some researchers suggested that they might be spacecraft from other worlds, the so-called extraterrestrial hypothesis, ETH. Within a year, Project Sign was succeeded by Project Grudge, which in 1952 was itself replaced by the longest-lived of the official inquiries into UFOs, Project Blue Book, headquartered at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. From 1952 to 1969, Project Blue Book compiled reports of more than 12,000 sightings or events, each of which was ultimately classified as identified with a known astronomical, atmospheric, or artificial human-caused phenomenon, or unidentified. The latter category, approximately 6% of the total, included cases for which there was insufficient information to identify a known phenomenon. Despite the failure of the ETH to make headway with the expert committees, a few scientists and engineers, most notably J. Allen Hynek, an astronomer at Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois, who had been involved with Project Sign, Grudge, and Blue Book, concluded that a small fraction of the most reliable UFO reports gave definite indications for the presence of extraterrestrial visitors. Hynek founded the Center for UFO Studies, CUFOS, which continues to investigate the phenomenon. Another major U.S. study of UFO sightings was the Advanced Aviation Threat Identification Program, ATP, a secret project that ran from 2007 to 2012. When the existence of the ADATIP was made public in December 2017, the most newsworthy aspect of it was a report that the U.S. government possessed alloys and compounds purportedly attained from UFOs that were of unidentifiable nature, but many scientists remained skeptical about this claim. Aside from the American efforts, the only other official and fairly complete records of UFO sightings were kept in Canada, where they were transferred in 1968 from the Canadian Department of National Defence to the Canadian National Research Council. The Canadian records comprised about 750 sightings. Less complete records have been maintained in the United Kingdom, Sweden, Denmark, Australia, and Greece. In the United States, CUFOS and the Mutual UFO Network in Bellevue, Colorado, continue to log sightings reported by the public. In the Soviet Union, sightings of UFOs were often prompted by tests of secret military rockets. In order to obscure the true nature of the tests, the government sometimes encouraged the public's belief that these rockets might be extraterrestrial craft, but eventually decided that the descriptions themselves might give away too much information. UFO sightings in China have been similarly provoked by military activity that is unknown to the public. Contact events, such as abductions, are often associated with UFOs because they are ascribed to extraterrestrial visitors. However, the credibility of the ETH as an explanation for abductions is disputed by most psychologists who have investigated this phenomenon. They suggest that a common experience known as sleep paralysis may be the culprit, as this causes sleepers to experience temporary immobility and a belief that they are being watched. Extraterrestrial life is life that may exist or may have existed in the universe outside of Earth. The search for extraterrestrial life encompasses many fundamental scientific questions. What are the basic requirements for life? Could life have arisen elsewhere in the solar system? Are there other planets like Earth? How likely is the evolution of intelligent life? Do aliens exist? This is a really interesting question and one that NASA has been trying to understand, explore, and figure out for a long time. We have not yet discovered life on any other planet, and we have not seen any scientifically supported evidence for extraterrestrial life. But if we think about life on this planet beyond the big things, the elephants, the whales, and redwood trees, and we decide to focus on the tiny things nearly everywhere on Earth that we've looked at, we've found microbial life. Our definition of habitable environments continues to expand. Off the Earth, we've only begun to look. NASA has sent 5 rovers and 4 landers to the surface of Mars. Additionally, orbiters have been outfitted with some amazing cameras to take pictures of the whole surface of the red planet, but we've only explored a tiny fraction of Mars, and that's only one of the promising bodies to look for life in our solar system. There are icy moons in the outer solar system, like Saturn's moon Enceladus and Jupiter's moon Europa, that look like they may have subsurface oceans that could be habitable. And that's just what's in our solar system. The more exoplanets we find around other stars, the more we learn about how many different environments could exist for life. We can't yet say for sure whether or not aliens exist. To quote Carl Sagan, "The universe is a pretty big place. If it's just us, it seems like an awful waste of space." So, NASA will keep looking. Dragonfly mission concept of entry, descent, landing, surface operations, and flight at Titan. A sequential illustration of NASA's Dragonfly spacecraft parachuting onto and then soaring across the surface of Saturn's moon, Titan. Such missions could conceivably find evidence of extraterrestrial life in the not-too-distant future. Relatively soon, some prominent astrobiologists say we will most likely have either found compelling evidence for extraterrestrial life or banished its possible existence to the ever-shrinking edges of the cosmos beyond the rapidly expanding reach of our observations. Such answers could come by the end of the 2030s from any of a number of initiatives ardently seeking alien life. By then, samples from Mars will have arrived back on Earth, perhaps containing concrete proof that the red planet once harbored organisms or still does today. Spacecraft at Jupiter's Europa and Saturn's Titan will be scouring both moons for signs of life residing in each world's subsurface ocean or, in the case of Titan, on the surface itself. Advanced telescopes on the ground and in space should be probing the atmospheres of potentially habitable exoplanets around nearby stars, looking for any that share the same biology-infused cocktail of gases as our own living Earth. As confident as astrobiologists may be that their quest will soon bear fruit, they are far less certain of how to communicate that success if and when it occurs. How should they go about informing the world that we are truly not alone in this universe, especially given their field's long, troubled history of dubious claims and false alarms? They have been fooled before, after all. In an October 2021 article published in Nature, a group of scientists came to grips with the problem. Led by NASA's chief scientist James Green, the researchers proposed a new framework to help verify and then communicate the detection of biosignatures beyond Earth, like the Torino scale for assessing the danger of asteroids. Their idea is to use a scale from level 1 to level 7 that will allow confidence in any given case to be gradually increased. Known as the confidence of life detection, or cold scale, it calls initially for simple confirmation that a result is not linked to contamination or some obviously abiotic origin, whereas its final levels would represent robust follow-up observations solidifying a link to life. These things are complex, Green says, but we really need to be able to communicate it simply. The ISS program combines two prior plans to construct crewed Earth-orbiting stations: Space Station Freedom, which was planned by the United States, and the Mir 2 station, which was planned by the Soviet Union. The first ISS module was launched in 1998. Major modules have been launched by Proton and Soyuz rockets and by the Space Shuttle Launch System. The first long-term residence, Expedition 1, arrived on November 2, 2000. Since then, the station has been continuously occupied for 23 years and 153 days, the longest continuous human presence in space. As of March 2024, 279 individuals from 22 countries have visited the space station. The ISS is expected to have additional modules, such as the Axiom orbital segment, before being deorbited by a dedicated NASA spacecraft in January 2031. Are UFOs and aliens among us? Between the 1940s and 50s, reports of flying saucers became an American cultural phenomenon. Sightings of strange objects in the sky became the raw materials for Hollywood to present visions of potential threats. Posters for films like Earth versus the Flying Saucers from 1956 illustrate these fears. Connected to ongoing ideas about life on the Moon, the canals on Mars, and ideas about Martian civilizations, flying saucers have come to represent the hopes and fears of the modern world. Are these alleged visitors from other worlds peaceful and benevolent, or would they attack and destroy humanity? The destructive power of the atomic bomb called into question the progressive potential of technology. Fear of the possibilities for destruction in the Cold War era proved fertile ground for terrestrial anxieties to manifest visions of flying saucers and visitors from other worlds who might be hidden among us in plain sight. Scientists and astronomers express varying degrees of enthusiasm for the possibility of intelligent life in the universe. However, scientists generally dismiss the idea that there are aliens visiting Earth. In Pale Blue Dot, A Vision of the Human Future in Space, Carl Sagan reviews the possibilities of alien visitors to Earth and suggests that there is good reason to be skeptical of them. Much of Sagan's work focuses on debunking folk stories and beliefs and tries to encourage more rigorous and skeptical thought. He similarly discussed criticism of beliefs in alien visitors in his earlier book, Demon-Haunted World: Science as a Candle in the Dark. This zealous criticism of belief in UFOs from Sagan, who was well known for his speculative ideas about the likelihood of alien civilizations, might seem to be a contradiction. Sagan himself had even speculated on the possibilities of visits by ancient aliens in his essay from the early 60s, Direct Contact Among Galactic Civilizations by Relativistic Interstellar Spaceflight: The Important Roles of NASA. NASA's mission is to pioneer the future in space exploration, scientific discovery, and aeronautics research. It focuses on exploring the universe, understanding Earth, improving air travel, and developing technology. NASA conducts research to improve aviation safety, efficiency, and environmental sustainability. This includes developing new aircraft designs, air traffic management systems, and technologies to reduce noise and emissions. NASA studies Earth's atmosphere, oceans, land surfaces, and climate to better understand global environmental changes. This research helps improve weather forecasts, monitor natural disasters, and assess the impact of human activities on the planet. NASA supports scientific research across various disciplines, including astrophysics, planetary science, heliophysics, and astrobiology. Its missions aim to answer fundamental questions about the origin, evolution, and nature of the universe. NASA collaborates with space agencies and organizations around the world on various projects, including the ISS, joint space missions, and sharing scientific data and resources. NASA develops advanced technologies for space exploration, propulsion systems, robotics, materials, science, and communications. Many of these technologies have applications beyond space exploration and benefit society in areas such as healthcare, transportation, and energy. NASA is committed to inspiring the next generation of scientists, engineers, and explorers through educational programs, internships, competitions, and outreach events. It engages with schools, museums, and the public to promote science, technology, engineering, mathematics, education, and literacy. NASA's future goals include returning astronauts to the Moon under the Artemis program, establishing a sustainable human presence on the lunar surface, sending crewed missions to Mars, and continuing robotic exploration of other planets and celestial bodies. So, do you think the National Aeronautics and Space Administration is truly hiding something from us? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below.